Oh, Xbox One, what an interesting time we had together. When I first heard about you, I was more than excited to have you come into my life. And by the end of it, I was ready for you to go. Xbox One is the only console that I've really had this complete 180 with during the time that I've had it. The first console I ever owned that I paid for was the Nintendo GameCube. And hey, I still hook that baby up and switch it on and play some Super Smash Bros. Or Super Mario Sunshine every now and then. Pretty much just Mario. Maybe Sonic Adventure 2 if I'm feeling a little adventurous. But I've never had a console where, even years later, I thought, I will never play this again. See, for the longest time, Halo 5 was the only reason that I kept my Xbox One. And it was really the only reason I got it in the first place, was the Halo exclusive, because I've been playing Halo since I was a kid. You know, I've been balling around in the streets, Master Chief and Cortana style, shooting grunts in the head and smacking elites. And then I realized Halo 5 was not enough to have me keep the Xbox One. It was not worth it at all. So before I really get into what I'm going to talk about, I just want to state that, yes, I am a Halo fanboy. I've been playing Halo since as long as I can remember. I would go over to my buddy's house and we'd hook up his Xbox and we'd play Halo Combat Evolved and then Halo 2 because it was the next best thing. And I just remember until like 5 or 6 in the morning we'd be up just playing split screen Slayer, killing each other, or making up our own little games inside Halo 2. It's some of the best gaming memories I have. So I've been sticking with Halo for a long time. And Halo 3 online custom games, are you kidding me? That's like some of the most fun I've had in a video game ever. The original Halo games are my favorite video game franchise, hands down. Like, that shit is pure gold as far as first-person shooters go. Now, since we're talking about Bungie and 343 Industries, and they kind of have a history, you know, neither Halo 5 nor Destiny 2 would be here if not for Halo Combat Evolved, the very original. So let's begin with Halo 5. When Halo 5 launched, its multiplayer was kind of crap. It had very few maps, gameplay was kind of janky, there wasn't much of a sandbox, no huge amounts of vehicles and weapons that you could pick from. Warzone, which is one of the biggest selling points of its multiplayer, became repetitive with only 3 maps to play and like 5 different types of bosses. You know, 10 games in, you've already experienced everything. And so yeah, it got to the point where the only selling point of Halo 5's multiplayer for me was the arena, where you could play game modes like Team Slayer, Team SWAT, and Breakout, and Free-for-all, and some other games that no one ever plays. Despite those negatives though, even at the beginning of the game's launch, there were some things that were just completely like, it was butter on the toast, because there are 2 things that make Halo 5's arena extraordinarily fun. Breakout is hella fun. Team SWAT is also hella fun. It's also frustrating. And for the longest time, those were the only 2 game modes that I played, aside from occasionally jumping into Warzone. And then, just a few years ago, came along a big new game that was going to change everything. And it was called Destiny. I never played it, and I never really had the interest of playing it. I saw Bungie's name on it, and that was enough to get me excited, but I didn't own a PlayStation, so I never got the opportunity to play it, and I wasn't about to go buy an entire console just to play this one game when that's exactly what I was doing with the Xbox One and Halo 5. But the game had a decent amount of followers. I mean, it got a sequel, so that's always there. And I think one of the main reasons why I refuse to ever play that game is back when I was in college for the 1 year that I went. I was living with my roommates and we all shared the same sort of common area, which is where we slept and did our artwork, because I went to an art school, go figure. And he would stay up until 8 in the morning doing nothing but playing Destiny. And his monitor was on the highest brightness, he was talking to his friends in China. I mean, it was just, I think I learned a decent amount of Chinese just listening to him play games. But then, after hearing about some of the features that would be put into Destiny 2, such as an actual campaign, I got excited. I was actually really looking forward to it. Plus, it was coming out on PC, so Hey. So Destiny 2, honestly, I think it's a little bit like old school Halo. I mean, it added some features, like there's a jetpack and some different abilities that you can upgrade your character with, but as far as the level design and the weapon feel goes, it feels a lot like Halo 2, I would say. I mean, Bungie's always been great at making levels. They've had some lows here and there, but for the most part, they got a pretty solid record. And if you look at Halo 5, well, let's be honest, some of the levels... they're shit. PvP modes in Destiny 2 are pretty fun. I played through all of them. They're all extremely fun. There's never one game mode that comes up and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to play this. And on top of that, the weapons are just fun to use. Now, unfortunately, Destiny 2 does have a smaller sandbox compared to Halo 5. Especially in the PvP games, there are no vehicles, no power weapons on the map. I mean, you can get ammo for your power weapon that you have equipped, but all the weapons and all the abilities that you use are based on what you've collected for your character. So it's kind of like an asymmetrical type of gameplay, but also trying to be balanced. I don't know. It's a little bizarre. And there are definitely some games that I get into where it's like, I clearly don't belong here. These people have such better stuff than me, and they are destroying me. But for the most part, it's pretty easy to jump into a game and feel like you can actually contribute to your team. So as far as gameplay goes, for Halo 5, honestly, I think it's a bit smoother. Doing things from like sprinting to a Spartan charge to being able to boost, and clamber, and ground pound. I mean, there's so many different abilities you can do that everyone has that are easy to use. In Halo 5, maps are usually pretty balanced. Power weapons spawn every now and then, but there's usually ways to get around them. Weapons are set in places that give a team that's in that spot the advantage, but won't completely turn the tide of battle as long as the other team is skilled and working together. And let's not forget, Halo 5 has some competitive gameplay. You play Breakout in that game, oof, it makes your butt pucker. And then when you look at Destiny 2's gameplay, I mean, I think it's a lot of fun, but to be honest, I don't think it's as polished as Halo 5. The movement isn't nearly as smooth. Yeah, you can sprint, you can jump, blah blah blah, but it's like if you're in the slightest bit of a jump and you bump into some wall, your character goes flying in the other direction. There's some issues with the user interface, and I've complained about this on a stream before, but the fact that it's difficult when you're playing the game to be focusing on the action that's going on and want to throw a grenade, and so you move your character to aim away from who you're shooting at in order to throw a grenade and hopefully get that advantage, but then you don't have a grenade because they recharge in that game. So it makes it difficult for me to predict when I can throw a grenade. If I pick one up on the ground that I saw myself pick up, I know I have at least one grenade to throw. In Destiny 2, it's like your cooldown's like a minute. Okay, great. I'm gonna guess when that minute's up in the heat of a battle. And it's just one issue, and there are a couple others, but it's a big one, and I absolutely hate how they do the grenades in Destiny 2. I think it's garbage. For the most part, gameplay is balanced, but like I said, it can also be really unfair. I got into a game when I was like level 12, and there were level 20 people in the game, and there was a level 2 guy on my team. And I was like, how is this level 2 player supposed to be able to compete against 1, a level 12, and 2, a level 20? Some games in Destiny 2 can be quick, other games might take longer, and the games are usually tense, but sometimes they can definitely be lackluster. I've definitely had a bit more of a lackluster experience with more games in Destiny 2 than I have with Halo 5. Now, both games have their faults, that's definitely true. Halo 5 at launch was completely barren, and it's got some glitches. I mean, it is glitchy AF, and that is a capital A and a capital F. Destiny 2 has more content than Halo 5 did at launch, but it still does seem like a small selection of game modes to play from. But it's not that big a deal because I think it works fine, and despite not having this huge open sandbox in Destiny 2, as opposed to Halo 5, which has, you know, different vehicles, different power weapons, and levels that sort of work together with that, Destiny 2 can still have some very intense and varied experiences from match to match. And yeah, okay, you can use vehicles when you're in the open world part of Destiny 2 with other players. Whatever, we're not talking about that. That's fancy schmancy pants futuristic stuff from 2025. And I get that comparing these two games is a little bit unfair, especially considering Halo 5 is 2 years older than Destiny 2, which can actually make a difference nowadays. And truth be told, in Destiny 2, I think that the PvP feels a lot like the older Halo games. I know it's different because you can decide what weapons you bring into battle, and you upgrade your character by leveling up, but it just feels like the arenas are made in such a way that kind of complement the game and the level design. Both games have really fun multiplayer, alright? Don't get me wrong. I think that they're both a lot of fun to play, and I do still play them. I think they're enjoyable experiences. But you know, to be honest, if I had to pick a favorite between these two games, I'd pick Halo 3. I don't really know what the point of this video was, except to maybe hopefully see some intuition coming into these projects in the future. I mean, both games do some things extremely well, and where one game lacks, I feel like the other one picks up. So it's like if we could just mix these two things together and get Halo 6, subtitle Destiny. That's solid gold. It's also never gonna happen. Both games are pretty fun shooters regardless. And I think I am enjoying Destiny 2's PvP a bit more than Halo 5, to be honest. Also, Halo 6 needs to be on PC. Video games are remarkable. I kill people, people kill me, and at the end of the day, we can usually laugh about it. Except for those times where it becomes personal. I mean, just look at this guy completely slaughter me in Halo 5. I might have typed some happy things during the game, but you better believe I went to therapy for a week. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Tell me, if you've played Halo 5 and Destiny 2, which one do you like more in terms of the PvP? And is my opinion correct? Be sure to let me know in the comments below with aggressive, excruciating details. Be sure to tell me everything wrong with what I'm saying.